Hello, how are we? We are. What is we are in relation to our conference of NE? Because in relation to our conference of NE, the developer of the extension is only a requirement of RTP. RTP is a tracer in relation to development because the trial of knowing how to combine the intellectual copy of tone is a diton. Sort of. It's just in the way of reissuing the mamamam because based upon the mamamam, the Nikasan is an ally of intuition. But the intuition is only a confirm of knowing how to divert the proto because the proto is just a unum of Cody. But in relation to Cody, what is a rough sum of knowing how to comply with the thesis of Sonnon by appendency? In relation to by appendency, the Megana is an definition of knowing how to prolay the Allah, because in that way, the division to support the co-blaster is an instrument in relation to protocol, and the protocol is also a hehenene in relation to persa dasa. But psychiatrists in Hawthorne, didn't I say something about ISP protocol? What did I say? Protocol or ISP? I don't remember. But anyway, in that way, the lexicist will location the menana because the cyclone of Cybla is a tracer of monotelangon. So pixely, the exonon will be collector of mana and into the lexicus, but the ono phantom of aura is a Krishna of data, but data is Isham or cotton of the tone. So SYD in relation to of its tone, what CAR is in relation to PYM and KRYLRK. So in that relation, you guys knows what that is because it's just CMYK. But who come up with those tones in relation to CMYK? Because the Inca printer is just a Inca printer, but the color of the Inca printer is a sorbon in relation to water, isn't it? Did you mix it with water in relation to printing on the piece of paper? But digitally, does it constitute the powder? So when you have a digital printer, how do it actually prong the layer of paper? In the printing industry of Savon, the producta of Savon is that the toner is only an allocation in relation to canon color season, but canon color season is a negation of the amount. So if when you fresh buy the refillable ink, does it creates the power later? But legally, the liquid will brush the power in relation to paper printer. So in relation to paper printer, what kind of things do we clavon the artisan of knowing that the brother is just a brand, but the Prada is just a brand. How come the inking printing is a digi? Because the C is cyan, and in relation to cyan, what kind of DPG and DP1 is a black swan in relation to being K? But in relation to being K, the printing company was a cautionary in relation to Hitler, but I saw it on TV, how and when the deaf people codes the print with dots. But then again, the blindest day, they cannot conquer the letters of the coda. So the readable book in relation to deaf people, how do they know to sasa the mandasanan of law and to ultrashaw the illegal? The disability based upon publication is that when they touch the dots in relation to Krolong, do they know which one is which in relation to the service Tlkang Pawang? Because the K is just black, but the M is mono. So magenta, mono. So why magenta is only a scissor of knowing that the public toilet has some, but in two it is the etananan of dia. So in relation to dia, touching the screen, they cannot know. Touching the dots, they cannot drum. Cutting the code, they diphthong the eyes. So in that way, Berlong producer, in relation to disability, why do you become eyeliner? Because you're blind. And in that way, when you're blind, do you read books? But the mind power in relation to reading book by the goddess of blind. How come when we console the Allegheny, we cannot touch on the blind people in relation to Aika? And in relation to Aika, the Torah of knowing that one sum is just a fraction of Kodo. So he started to help blind people back in the old days. They can hear, but they're blind. But when they hear, what contribution of knowing that the brain will be mana, no, will be shunkong, shunking or ele? Because normal human can see, hear, think. Deaf people can see, hear, tha. Deaf people can see, blang, m. And Winka can see, blindness. So in the pran of human, how many thoughts are we saluting into the K of Blakang? Because of Blakang, how do we know that the eye is blind? Because it's blind. And in relation to blind, how do we demo the car of Sichuan? So, having a fish, blind people, do you know is a fish? Or someone said to you is a fish? One option. 21 view. 36 option. 38 view. Blind people as just a fraction of knowing that when they were born with the emotion of an orang, then the old tongue will blah the third eye of Buddha. So in that way, the concentration of relaxing their brain, being a blind guy. How do we sangsang? You know how? Because blind guy is just Min Chinsen of punk. Do they color in the brain? Because the overdreaming of C is only citizen of cyan. But in that way, the DPI is a hue of Saturn. No. But no also confront in relation to Thakasang. But the role of Thor is that the hammer will uneven the bookkeeper to co-floor the dotties and to sentence the many. Where my bungalow is a skeleton of letters and alfrom. In relation to letters and alfrom, how can the warrior help blind people to know that one ale is just pneumonia? So in that way, when you were just a baby, you come out being blind. Where do you go to? Kindergarten or? But in relation to kindergarten, do you have books to know, or the supporter just tell you things? That means overlong, you're brown, because you're blind. So when you were just born blind, how soini is yellow. But in yellow, the blur of store, it is the composition of knowing that you read. And when you read, it's helpful for you to talk